After 2 seasons of steadily growing closer together, Rayla and Callum admitted their romantic feelings for each other in Season 3 of The Dragon Prince. They kiss multiple times during the season, and, at the season's end, as Callum saves Rayla from falling to death, he admits that he does in fact love her. In a world torn between humans and elves, between magic users and non-magic users, this relationship is important. It is significant to the future of this world, as the Dragon Queen herself implies near the end of the season when she sees them together. Their relationship is also significant for them personally. It marks their character growth. Finally, they are leaving behind the scared and lonely people they had been. They're stronger, smarter, and more confident together than they are when they are alone. They bring out the best in each other, and as importantly, they help each other see themselves in a better light. At the start of the show, they did not know who they were or what they wanted to be. Rayla had lost her parents. She believed they were failures and struggled to redeem herself from their mistakes. As such, she became an assassin and attempted to kill Ezran, even though she cares far more about humans than she is willing to admit. Callum lost his mother years ago, and he never feels like a real prince. He never knew his biological father, and he is only included in the royal family because his now deceased mother, Sarai, married Harrow, the king. Because of this, he has an intense inferiority complex. It certainly helps him that Harrow thinks of him as a son, but he still feels like an outsider. The journey Callum and Rayla embark upon near the beginning of The Dragon Prince helps them find the sense of purpose they had been missing, but they are only able to find that sense of purpose because they have each other. They can rely upon each other, they give each other confidence and make each other feel comfortable even in difficult situations. But will that last? As we head into the second half of the series, it is worth considering whether the relationship between them will end happily or whether it will end in tragic misery. Let us investigate. This is The Dragon Prince Explained. Will Raylan have a happy ending? First, let us set our parameters. It is important to establish exactly what we mean by happy ending. If Callum and Rayla decide that having a romantic relationship is a little awkward, and that they are better off as friends, that is not necessarily a negative ending for these characters, but that's not really what we're talking about here, now is it? I am a romantic at heart. I want to see these two make it romantically. I'm not saying they have to end the series married and having kids, for many reasons, the foremost of which being that is not the only legitimate idea of a successful romantic relationship, but I want to see these two together at the end of the series. That's what I will consider a happy ending for this couple. Now that we have that established, let us consider the 2 ways in which that happy ending could not happen. The 2 ways in which it could all completely fall apart. The first is that they could break up for any number of reasons. The second is that one of them dies a brutal, tragic, gruesome death. Let us contemplate the second path first, as I feel fairly certain in stating that it is not going to happen. The Dragon Prince is not Game of Thrones. It is not the kind of show that prides itself on killing characters. While I would not be surprised if one of the 3 most important characters in this story, meaning Callum, Ezran, and Rayla, dies, as this show has demonstrated that it is capable of taking big swings, I highly doubt that something like that is going to occur. If there is any major character who is going to die in this show, it is probably going to be Soren. He could die protecting Ezran and Callum from those who wish to hurt them. That would be a fitting ending to his character arc. Killing off a main character is a risk. These characters are the heart of the show, so if you don't know exactly what to do with the characters you have left, your show can become a little rudderless and directionless. So I highly doubt they are going to kill either Rayla or Callum. These two characters are the soul of the show. They represent everything it is going for artistically. So instead, let us consider the other possibility. The possibility that they break up. Normally, when a show like this spends a long time teasing out a pairing, it does not make that pairing happen until the end of the series, so the possibility of the two of them breaking up does not come into play. Look at Avatar: The Last Airbender and Aang and Katara. While it is established from the first episode of the series that Aang has a major crush on Katara, and that crush never fades or vacillates throughout the series, their relationship never really develops. Katara's mind is open to the idea that she could have a romantic relationship with Aang near the end of episode 114, The Fortune Teller. She shares several kisses with Aang from this point onward, the first of which being in episode 202, The Cave of the Two Lovers. This is when all hope is lost and they kiss in the dark, believing that love will guide the way. The other kiss between them is in episode 310, The Day of Black Sun, Part 1, in which Aang kisses Katara before he goes off to fight the Fire Lord. However, despite these kisses, Katara is not convinced that the relationship between them should necessarily be romantic, and she expresses her confusion concerning her feelings in episode 317, The Ember Island Players. But at the end of the series, they kiss, and the implication is that they are together this time. It's supposed to be this grand and triumphant moment. That is the arc of their relationship. In reality, it is the arc leading to the start of a relationship. To be clear, there is nothing innately wrong with this, but I find what the Dragon Prince does far more interesting. We actually get to see their relationship play out. If Netflix does not cancel the show, and it does in fact run for 7 seasons, that means the amount of time the show spends dealing with the actual dynamics of their romantic relationship will be greater than the amount of time it's spent playing up the will they or won't they dynamic. This is fascinating. There is so much you can do with this couple. While I am sure there are those who would like nothing more than for Callum and Rayla to face 0 personal obstacles in their relationship and glide through the next 4 seasons without facing any major difficulties, I am not one of those people. That approach to me completely lacks tension. Now, do I want to see these two break up and never get back together? No, of course not. Do I think the show is really going to have them get into a nasty fight and have them break up for good? No. Now, it is not impossible, but like the idea of their dying tragically, I find it rather unlikely. It would be rather anticlimactic to build up a relationship for that long, only to have it suddenly come crashing down. Now, that does not mean something like that could not be done well. It absolutely could, but The Dragon Prince is most certainly not that kind of show. There are a lot of reasons why people like The Dragon Prince, but I don't think anyone comes to this show because they think it's dark and edgy. There are few shows more fundamentally optimistic than this one. But that does not mean The Dragon Prince couldn't break up the couple for a certain portion of the series. I think that would challenge the characters and force them to really think about what they mean to each other. They've traveled together since Season 1, and gradually, over that time, they have come to care about each other. I want to see them spend time away from each other and then choose to come back together. Any number of things could separate them. Maybe a giant boulder falls in their path and it separates them and they each have to take a different path. I don't know. But what I think would be most interesting is if they choose to go apart. Considering how strong their relationship is right now, that does not seem likely. So how could it happen? Maybe have it be over dark magic, or especially over Claudia. Claudia and Callum have been friends since they were kids. What if he, because of that, wants to treat her more leniently, while Rayla wants to be harsher on Claudia because Rayla knows just how dangerous Claudia can be? What if Rayla accuses Callum of still loving Claudia? An accusation that, as far as we know right now, is not entirely unfounded. I don't want to see them split apart forever. I want to make that clear. Again, I love these two as a couple. But it would be fascinating to see them try to reconcile the differences between them with how much they gain from being together. If this separation does happen, I imagine it happening in Season 4 or Season 5. As Star Wars and Avatar have taught us, it is the second part of a series that tends to be the darkest. It is the part where the heroes have the least amount of hope. At the end of The Empire Strikes Back, the Empire has won. At the end of Avatar Season 2, Azula has won. Callum and Rayla have some dark times ahead of them, but I believe they will emerge from these dark times together. The only realistic scenario in which I can see them not being together at the end of the series is if they have to go their separate ways to protect the peace between humans and elves. It could be like the end of Princess Mononoke, where balance has been restored between people and the forest, but our two main characters, Ashitaka and San, cannot be together because there will always be an innate difference between humanity and nature. Though the two can become closer, they are not the same. It is a truly poignant ending, and I can see the Dragon Prince going in that direction. It would lead to a truly heartbreaking goodbye between Callum and Rayla. Maybe Rayla has to leave to go lead the Moonshadow Elves, and Callum has to leave to go help Ezran lead Catalyst toward peace and prosperity. That said, I doubt this is the approach they are going to take. The Dragon Prince is not about humans and elves learning to live separate lives in peace. It is about humans and elves learning to live together. It is about the integration of human society and elven society. Only when humans and elves live together and learn about each other can the cycle of violence be broken, stopping the flow of blood that has stained this continent and taken so many lives. The romantic relationship between Rayla and Callum is not contrary to the show's themes. Rather, it fits perfectly with those themes. Callum and Rayla serve as a microcosm of the bond between human society and elven society. Their building a life together represents the whole of human society and elven society, learning to build a new life together out of the ashes of war and bloodshed into a new era of peace and balance. There is nothing easy about making this relationship work, just like there is nothing easy about building a new society. Both require commitment and sacrifice and putting aside one's perceptions of oneself and the world around one. But both are absolutely worthwhile. So thank you all for watching. If you'd like to do so today, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can, and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It is a fantastic, fascinating, intricate show, and it's only getting better as it goes along. I cannot wait for Season 4. Tune in soon for the next analysis. It'll be coming in about a week or so. Thank y'all again. Adios, comrades.